Introduction of lights. Lights provide illumination to your scene. And if we have no light, everything would be pitch black and you can't see anything. So by default, AutoCAD has what's called default lighting. It will have two lights shining on the object. You can think of them coming over as you're facing the screen. One's coming over your left-hand shoulder, coming in. You can see it illuminating over here. And the other one's coming over your right-hand shoulder, shining over here. You can see it illuminating right here. So we have two basic lights. It's real easy. You don't have to do anything, but it provides kind of unrealistic look to things. There's no shadows created, and we need shadows so that things don't look like they're floating in space. So these default lights are okay, but our other type of lighting that we have is user created lighting, where we can actually make our own lights, and we'll cover that later on. But another type of light we have is sunlight, and sunlight can be set in AutoCAD to mimic wherever the sun is located. So if we go into our Visualize tab, over here we have the sun location, and so I can say I want no shadows or shadows, but over here I can say sun. And when I turn on the sun, it says it's going to pop up warning to turn off the default lighting. So I'm going to turn it off, and now when it's blue, the sun is shining. And so now I get the representation of the sun shining on these objects. And I can come down and pick the sun location. I can pick where it is on a map, for example. And I can pull up this map, and I can use a map to pick up this data, and I can get it online, and I'm not hooked up to the internet right now, so that isn't going to work at the moment. I could put the latitude and longitude in there if I wanted to, if I knew that. I could also go from a file if I had a file. So it works better when you're on the internet. I can also set the date, because in the middle of summer, on June 21st, the shadows of the sun's at its highest peak in the northern latitudes. So I can set that to have that, or I can have it say in the middle of winter. In January, it's set at the lowest, so we have longer shadows. I can set the time of the day. I would say in the middle of the night, it's going to be dark out. But I could have it say near dusk. I could have it bright right over straight ahead of us. We get the best shadows early in the morning and late in the evening. So whatever time of day it is, about an hour before the sun goes down, an hour after the sun comes up, somewhere in that zone we want to have shadows. Shadows look good when we do this. We also can set the sky. The sky can be turned on. We can have a sky background, so we can turn on a background representing the sky, and so it has a blue sky and stuff. We can also have the sky as a background, and we can have some illumination from the sun, so we can have some of that indirect lighting as the sun, after the sun sets, we have that indirect lighting. After the sun's gone down, there's still light. We can have some of that shining in the background if we like. So we have three different types of lights. We have default lighting, we have user-defined lighting, and we'll learn about those later, where we create our own lights, and we have sunlight. And sunlight can be controlled here in the sun and location panel, and we can turn the sun on or off. If we turn the sun off, we get default lighting. So when the sun's on, we should have our default lighting turned off, and we'll get a message for that.